Of course, on the day that I'm about to see 1,000 derms, my skin is breaking out, but good news is that I'm great with makeup, so I'm going to show you how I faked perfect skin to look like this. I actually had tons of derms telling me how amazing my skin was, and of course I pretended it was the CE Ferulic. Okay, so for my foundation, I'm going to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Honestly, I've tried so many other foundations and I end up just coming back to this one because it really does last all day and it just has such a beautiful like natural matte finish that just gives you this overall airbrushed look. So I'm going to use this as my base, and normally I hate using like the it products in every category, like I don't know, the Rhode lip gloss. I hate like being like, oh, I love like Clinique Black Honey because I just feel basic when I like the product that everybody else is using. But in this case, I honestly understand why this has been the number one foundation for so long. So I just blend this in with my brush, and also it blends so nicely. And you don't have to use too much because I would say it's like medium coverage. And it's thin but still like a little bit occlusive, so it's not overly drying. So next for my concealer, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Faux Filter. And listen, I have tried every single concealer out there, and this one is just really the best. And the reason why is because it literally melts. I have no beauty filter on. And I've literally tried every concealer out there. I've tried Shape Tape. I've tried the Hourglass one everyone's obsessed with. I've tried the Kat Von D one, the NARS, the NARS Radiant one that everyone's obsessed with. And I can tell you this honestly has the best of all worlds because it is super pigmented. So it's like more pigmented than like the NARS one, for example, but still so blendable and so lightweight. And usually concealers kind of sit on your skin because they're so high coverage. And for me, it's like I kind of need that because like I said, I'm trying to like cover my acne and stuff. But this one just blends so seamlessly. Like it just disappears into your skin. And it really is kind of like the name, like faux filter. So this is truly like my holy grail. I will never go back to another concealer. So this is an extreme disgusting close-up of my skin. I have no powder or anything yet, but I do have the concealer on. You can see that it doesn't really look like I just put a huge patch of concealer on. To get the perfect powder that sets your makeup, gives you that airbrush look, but doesn't look too dusty and too crusty, it's all about the powder trifecta. And what I mean by that is, first, you want a very lightweight, kind of translucent powder to set. And what I'm going to use a very fluffy type of powder puff. This one I got from Amazon, but you're going to just lightly tap it into your skin. And the purpose of this powder and this step is to really just like push the powder into your makeup to keep it from budging. And you want something pressed. This one's baked. This is the Kosas Cloud Powder, which is honestly one of my favorite products in the world because you just want to give that very light, airy kind of finish. If you use a very pigmented pressed powder, it's gonna look cakey. And loose powder, using a loose powder, in my opinion, I know a lot of people do it, is the first step in setting, kind of gives you a little bit of an uneven coverage because it's really hard to get the loose powder like super even. I'm going to go in and reinforce the under eye area, especially. Yep, just tapping and not like swiping because you don't want to like swipe off the makeup and make it look like you have some streak marks. Next, I'm going to use my Infallible powder, which is a powder foundation. This one's amazing. The MAC Studio Fix is also great, but this one's like way cheaper and the same quality, and so I'm using this one. But basically the point of this is two things. So this powder is waterproof, sweat-proof, transfer-proof. So this is to kind of lock in what I just set and to add like a little bit more of an airbrushed finish. But again, this powder is a little bit heavier. It will give you that beautiful airbrush look and help keep your makeup on all day, but you gotta just like lightly dust and lightly tap. If you go in with too heavy of a hand on this, it will look a little bit cakey. So try to stay light with your brush and your tapping. Because this is waterproof, I also love to just line my under eyes with this as well. Again, not too much or else it's gonna look crusty under your eyes, but the point of this is because it's waterproof, if your eyes water, for example, a little bit during the day or anything, it literally will keep your under eye area from looking disgusting and your like under eye concealer from falling off. And lastly, I like to use a loose setting powder to finish. And this is just some extra insurance to lock everything in and also to just ensure a very smooth canvas to blend my brush, my blush, my bronzer, and my highlighter that I'm going to do next. So this is the Huda one, which I like because it's super blurring. So it's just gonna kind of be the finishing touch. And yes, I'm using 3 powders. They all serve different purposes and they all have different looks, but it doesn't look overly like matte or any dry on my face because I use such a small amount of each, but they each serve their purpose. So got a layer. And again, this makes sure there's like an ultra smooth surface and that everything's even, so that when you blend your blush, your bronzer, your highlighter, and everything, it'll just like seamlessly feel like butter on your skin and just look super airbrushed. And now just finishing the rest of my makeup with blush, bronzer, highlighter, of course lipstick, lashes, and more. And here is the final result. You can kind of see a little bit of like the bumpiness of the acne, but honestly it's barely there. So now we are ready to roll and to fool a bunch of derms. Let's go.